Good morning. You are welcome here, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background. You are welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome to join us as we sing songs that uplift our very beings. We welcome you. Our speaker today is our own Reverend Robin. Her sermon is entitled, Unjudge Someone. Eastrose acknowledges that for at least 13,000 years, many tribes and bands have made their lives here where our church home and our communities now exist. We remember and honor these people who made their homes in this land, the ones here now and the ones who lived here before. In peace, may we share this land and honor one another. Let's take a moment now and greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand as you're willing and able and face the cameras by the clock on the back wall and wave hello to our friends online. Next, turn to your neighbor and say hello. Well, I forgot to introduce myself. Some of you may not know who I am. I'm Tara Perez, your worship leader today, and I'm also the choir director here at Eastrose, and we can talk about that later. All right, so our responsive call to worship will be up on the screen. For our online guests, if you'd like to share a joy or sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it in the YouTube chat, and those words will be shared aloud with everyone. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. May I be no one's enemy, and may I be the friend of that which is eternal and abides.
May I wish for every person's happiness and envy none.
May I never rejoice in the ill fortune of one who has wronged me.
May I, to the extent of my power, give needful help to all who are in want.
May I never fail a friend.
May I respect myself.
May I always keep tame that which rages within me.
May I accustom myself to be gentle and never be angry with others because of circumstances.
May I know good people and follow in their footsteps. Reverend Robin will now light the chalice. These words are by Pat Uribe Lighty, Different Yet United. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and yet we come together as one people, with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, may we find others who are much like us and others who are much different. May our lit chalice remind us that we are a people taught by different stories with many voices, but always one people, working for a world where love creates justice and justice gives birth to peace.
Thank you, Tyler. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Our opening words today are a poem by the great Billy Collins. It's called Old Man Eating Alone in a Chinese Restaurant. He writes, I am glad I resisted the temptation, if it was a temptation when I was young, to write a poem about an old man eating alone at a corner table in a Chinese restaurant. I would have gotten it all wrong, thinking, the poor old guy, not a friend in the world, and with only a book for a companion, he'll probably pay the bill out of a change purse. So glad I waited all these decades to record how hot and sour the hot and sour soup is here at Chang's in the afternoon, and how cold the Chinese beer in a frosted glass. And my book, Jose Saramongo's Blindness, as it turns out, is so absorbing that I look up from its escalating horrors only when I am stunned by one of his gleaming sentences. And I should mention the light that falls through the big windows this time of day, italicizing everything it touches, the plates and teapots and the immaculate tablecloths, as well as the soft brown hair of the waitress in the white blouse and short black skirt, the one who is smiling now as she bears a cup of rice and shredded beef with garlic to the old man's table in the corner. Our opening hymn is number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. The words will be on the screen. Please rise as you are able.
Good morning. Today we're going to talk about something important called bias. Bias is when we have an opinion or make a judgment that isn't necessarily true or fair. Sometimes our biases can make us think we know all about someone just by looking at them or hearing one thing about them. But that's not fair, is it? Imagine if someone decided they didn't like you just because of how you look, what you wear, or where you're from. That wouldn't be right, would it? We're all so much more than what people can see on the outside. That's why it's important not to judge others too quickly. Everyone has a story, just like characters in a book. And just as we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, we shouldn't judge people until we get to know them. Today's story is called Imagine a Wolf by Lucky Platt. We're going to learn about looking beyond our first impressions and discovering surprising and wonderful things about others by taking the time to really understand them. Close your eyes and imagine a wolf. Do you have a picture of a wolf in your mind? Okay, you can open your eyes. Am I what you imagined? I didn't think so. When you closed your eyes, I bet you imagined the big bad wolf, like this one. Or the biggest, baddest wolf in this story. Yikes. Everywhere I go, I inspire reactions like this. What big teeth! So pointy. How terrible. What do you think I use these big teeth for? The better to hold the wool while my paw spins the wheel. Everywhere I go, no matter what I do, I'm reminded that I'm different. Look at those big eyes. And what do you think I use these big eyes for? The better to enjoy the colors all around me. And yet, everywhere I go, no matter what I do or how much I try to fit in, I still stand out. What big ears! What do you think I use these big, beautiful ears for? The better to pick up a faraway cry for help. Brr, we're so cold out here. Everywhere I go, no matter what I do or how much I try to fit in, there's always someone who cries, "Wolf!" Did that scare you too? Are you still there? Sometimes, like right now, it's hard to clean off my paws and shake away the tears from my snout. It's hard to pick myself up and keep going. But I do, because everywhere I go, I try to be me. I heard you were cold. Would you like a sweater? What a big heart you have. Close your eyes and imagine a wolf. Do you have a picture of a wolf in your mind? Okay, you can open your eyes. Am I what you imagined? Remember, everyone has a story that's much bigger than what we see at first glance. By being curious and kind, we can learn amazing things about each other and make our world a friendlier place. And now we'll leave Reverend Robin and the grown-ups to keep talking about this while we go explore in our classroom. If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we can sing the children out. Thank you.
Now I invite you into a quiet space in the middle of the service where we're not having words swirling around us all the time, just some quiet. And put your feet on the floor and uncross your arms, close your eyes. Take a big exhale. Just really see if you can relax your shoulders and your face and feel the exhale create spaciousness. Then I invite you to enter into some intentional breathing, breathing in 4 beats through your nose slowly, 5 or 6 beats out slowly through your mouth in a steady rhythm, creating calm and spaciousness and openness. If your mind starts to wander, starts to think, try to bring it back to your breath and to creating spaciousness. Imagine your breath like a stone dropping into water. You drop a stone. I choose ease. Drop a stone. I feel peace. Drop a stone. I choose joy. Do a few more rounds of breath. Then one big exhale. Shake it out. I choose peace. I choose ease. I choose joy. We'll remain seated for our quiet song. It's number 1013 in the Teal hymnal, Open My Heart. We'll sing it 3 times.
Expressway. These days, expressway driving seems a frantic enterprise. Near one of the exit ramps, one of the highway denizens, a behemoth semi, had pulled over onto the berm. The driver had emerged and was gathering some wild plants along the side of the road. In that moment, another stereotype bit the dust. I know what truck drivers are like. They're strong, burly masters of profanity, ruthless gypsies who have neither homes nor families. They care not a whit for sunsets, mountain peaks, seashores, or wildflowers. But now I have seen one take the time to stop and look carefully at the splendor by the roadside. I've been by that very spot numerous times. Not once did I take the time or trouble to stop and look at the miracles of leaf and flower. Goodbye, shattered image. I think I shall not miss you at all. You were, it should be said, quite convenient. You allowed me the luxury of not having to think of truck drivers as real people, as varied as the vast diversity of wildflowers. Stereotypic thinking does not impact solidarity or dimensionality to an object. Quite the opposite. It dispenses with the details and eliminates the idiosyncrasies of individuals by making them members of a class of things, all of which have identical characteristics. Well, all truck drivers do have a common characteristic. They do drive trucks. That may exhaust the list of characteristics they share. There's one of them, at least, who notices what is growing beside the road. Quite a feat, actually, at 70 miles an hour. As the number of people inhabiting our little globe grows, so I suppose will the temptation to group people into classes, apply labels to them, and mistake the label for the far more complex reality. Perhaps the image of the truck driver stopping to gather wildflowers by the side of the road can be a reminder of how perilous, how depersonalizing, how diminishing such stereotypes can be. I've had a number of stereotypes pasted onto me. As I pause to think about them, I like my own name better than any one of them. I have a hunch that others like their names as well, far better than any label, and far, far better than a number. The struggle to maintain a sense of importance for each of us may be long and often difficult. The challenge is quite extraordinary, every ordinary day.
Are you ready? Okay.
There we go.
Good. Last month, I enjoyed a wonderful visit in Copenhagen with my son, my daughter-in-law, and my two granddaughters, Ruby and Camila. It's such a gorgeous, walkable, and bikeable city, and we meandered through many plazas, down ancient streets, and along the waterfront, very much at human eye level. On one of those outings, a sign caught my eye in front of one of the city's stunning buildings. It read, "Menes qui biblioteket." Menes qui biblioteket. That's my best Danish, which means human library today. Below the headline were photos of several individuals who would be the boogs or books of the day. Human books that could be checked out by the folks who had signed up for the event. I remembered seeing a notice for a human library event in Sedona when I lived in Arizona, and I reminded myself that I'd really like to try to arrange a human library event here in Portland or Gresham. The motto of the human library movement is Unjudge Someone, which gives us our title today. The organization, which is now international, actually began in Copenhagen in the spring of 2000, the brainchild of 4 colleagues. The original event in 2000, it was open 8 hours a day for 4 days and featured over 50 different human books. This broad selection provided readers with ample choice to challenge their stereotypes and unconscious biases. More than 1,000 readers checked out their books for safe one-on-one encounters, leaving the founders stunned but gratified by the impact of their idea. In the section of their website called Books, they ask, "Who do you think I am?" And the stories include, among others, when you click on the pictures, a man with ADHD and one who is brain damaged, an alcoholic, a teen with autism. You'll find a woman who's bipolar, a guy who is body mod extreme, a convert, someone who is homeless, and another who is HIV positive. Another has been molested, one is polyamorous, and another is a refugee. There's a soldier, a trans man, and a young mother. Now, admittedly, some strangers are dangerous and not people we wish to befriend for legitimate reasons. It's fascinating and humbling, though, to face our own unconscious biases and stereotypes as we move through our daily lives and encounters and think, who do you think they are? And it happens for all of us, I think. The pharmacy tech at CVS, the woman pushing her shopping cart down the street, the man in the MAGA cap, the goth gang carrying skateboards under their arms downtown, the Native American woman and her dog waiting in line for dinner at Blanchet House. Whether it's intentional or not, we are sometimes guilty of othering the other further than they are already other to us, out of fear or disdain, hubris, or judgment. Billy Collins admits as much in his poem, Old Man Eating Alone in a Chinese Restaurant, when he writes, "I would have gotten it all wrong, thinking this poor old guy, not a friend in the world with only a book for a companion. He'll probably pay the bill out of a change purse." Or consider the Reverend Gordon McKeeman's experience on the highway when he discovered that truck driver pulled over on the berm who was not the burly master of profanity or rootless gypsy he imagined, but rather a lover and appreciator of wildflowers, picking a handful by the side of the road. "Goodbye, shattered image," he proclaims. Professor Kathy Small, who I met and got to know in Flagstaff, had some preconceived notions about a man named Ross Moore, the man in the dog park, before she began to know him as a human being and a friend, rather than perceive him through what she calls the well-worn grooves of American narratives about the homeless. She wrote a book about him called The Man in the Dog Park and the evolution of their relationship, and I was really struck by this excerpt from the book. She writes, "There is something to be said about the purposeful effort to step outside of your own reality, or perhaps to allow other realities into your zone." Kathy tells us that this willingness has been absolutely life-altering for her. She admits that when she first met Ross, it was with profound distrust and fear. And she astutely points out she realized she's part of a particular culture and would have been a stunningly remarkable person to have responded otherwise. And I think that's a very honest assessment. How would I expect myself to respond knowing my own background, my own culture, my own programming, my own preconceived ideas? The worlds we enter into, though, offer us that window into our own. As Kathy puts it, like others who cross cultures or the boundaries of our upbringing, we find in ourselves not only a greater responsiveness to the human condition, but also the delight of living in a world less alien, less hostile, less unloving than it was before. And that is why the human library movement is now such a global phenomenon. It offers just this opportunity and this window into another person's identity beyond our own embedded beliefs or comfort zones or smaller worlds. It creates the chance to unjudge someone. What a gift. It's valuable to note that unjudging is different from simply not judging. Or one could say that judging precedes unjudging. Whether we realize it or not, we're always making assessments of others, aren't we? Why do we judge? And how does judgment dim our own light? Of unfamiliar visitors here in our sanctuary, of unhoused people near our property, of voters with vastly different views. We're in election season and people are digging back up Hillary's campaign. And some say that Hillary Clinton's campaign will most be remembered for her characterization of Trump's rural, less educated supporters as a basket of deplorables. She can't take it back. It's there forever. And on the flip side, we have the pitchforks out for so-called elites, who are typically more highly educated, more well-off, and progressive. Needless to say, these labels are deepening the divide and endangering our society and dividing families, as Mary pointed out so poignantly in her sharing today. In an article for Psychology Today magazine, the therapist Dana Herron notes that hating or judging others is at odds with loving ourselves. She writes, sometimes people judge others to avoid reckoning with potential feelings of inadequacy or shame in ourselves. But judging can never give people what they truly need, which is connection and self-love. Yet they keep doing it, consciously or unconsciously. Often, at least here in America, we're programmed through family and broader culture, media, religion, and advertising to see the world in a kind of rank order, hierarchical fashion. And when two people encounter one another, there is an impulse for one to be better and one to be less. Any metric will do. Wealth, status, body weight, beauty, height, intelligence, popularity, faith. Who do I think I am? And who do I think you are in relation to that? Let me repeat that tongue twister of a sentence. Who do I think I am? And who do I think you are in relation to that is a question we can ask. You know, it's very insidious. Even if we really are trying to be more evolved, even if we are striving to be intentionally non-judgmental and to connect across differences, it is genuinely difficult. Real strength, real self-esteem, Darren reminds us, is not about denigrating other people or putting them in boxes. It's about knowing who you are, what you value, and how you want to live that truth. It's about knowing that you can afford to be generous because you are enough, and there's plenty of care and affirmation to go around. Being kind and unjudging people, that doesn't mean you can't have opinions and real reasons for not liking someone, but being kind and unjudging others will never diminish you. We bake a bigger pie, and we all sit at the table. And who doesn't love pie? I do. One could venture that most of the human books who volunteer in the human libraries would savor a slice as well. If we tune into our bodies and our emotions, we know how lousy it feels to judge others, and we know how lousy it feels to be judged. We're not in alignment with our higher selves, and we're engaging in a cheap, dirty trick to protect ourselves in some way or bolster our own fragile sense of self-worth. Darren brings it home saying, so you'll have to judge yet another person and another to keep this charade going. You'll have to find drug addicts, criminals, terrible mothers, homeless or fat people to keep your head above water with floaties instead of learning how to swim. Continuing the metaphor here, human libraries are the swim class that offer a path to breaking this cycle and learning how to unjudge in the first place. Now, we can't all run out now and attend a human library event, although again, it would be nice to have some, but you can follow its principles. Self-interrogate about your own unconscious biases, condescending stereotypes, name-calling, labeling, and snap judgments. We all have them. If we were to make a concerted effort to check in with ourselves throughout the day and see how often our minds and hearts are in a judging mode, sometimes with an accompanying anger or self-righteous indignation, we might be shocked at how much space that is taking up. And if we're honest, we'd have to admit that this negative judgment of ourselves and others isn't adding to the quality of our lives or the quality of the society we live in. The writer Annabelle Street took an intentional approach to this self-reflection, and she writes about its impact in an essay for the Washington Post entitled, "I spent a week on a chat bench in London, and here's what I learned." The chat bench was the brainchild of a British police officer in 2019 who was concerned about scammers who were targeting the elderly who were lonely and desperate for connection and tended to sit on park benches. It took Annabelle 3 days to commit to actually sitting on the bench. She was anxious about chatting with strangers. By day 5, she had connected with a man who grew up in rural Ireland who had made career mistakes and loved jazz. A young man who admitted he was an organizer of illicit rave events, and a woman who shared the secret that she was about to begin IVF treatments. As her visits continued in the following weeks, so did strangers' revelations. The commonality was a desire to unburden themselves of topics that were difficult to discuss and to express their true selves. For Annabelle, this experience was, in her words, a pilgrimage to possibility, offering her radically different perspectives. She writes, "There is some science to this. Paul van Lang, a Dutch psychologist, labels this phenomenon vitamin S. His research shows that strangers often confide in one another because two strangers on a bench are equally vulnerable. His studies show that these interactions can promote mental well-being and activate underused neural pathways." Has this sermon made you feel less judgy? Too soon? Has it made you consider the idea of judgment and unjudging? I hope so. It's quite likely that those of us gathered today as a congregation of humans on this communal chat bench have judged one another at some point and judged me too, as your minister. Alas, it is a common and perpetual occupational hazard. While I was rifling around for resources for my sermon today, I came across a poem I saved years ago, read it again, and it caused me to both nod and chuckle. I think it'll cause Susie to nod and chuckle. It's timeless and as fitting as ever, and a good place to end, I reckon. The author is John Gifford Fowler, British cleric who lived from 1899 to 1975, and the poem is entitled, "Judge Not the Preacher." He laments, "It was 20 minutes of pure loss, if you can think of neither text nor gloss, and have forgotten what the subject was. Judge not the preacher. If you came for hoping for, even for a crumb to ease your need and departed with none, if she might just well have been stone dumb, judge not the preacher. Perhaps she prayed for light and no spark came, held out her candle, and it took no flame. Perhaps she sought your heart and missed her aim. Judge not the preacher. She is a person like you, so do not boast that both are dull today. She is at most occasional mouthpiece for the Holy Ghost. Judge not the preacher. So may it be for all of us. Let's unjudge someone and each other. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen. Our hymn is number 129 in the gray hymnal, Let Love Continue Long. Please rise as you are able.
Half of each week's Sunday collection is shared with a local organization doing good works in our area. This third quarter, our Sharing the Bounty partner is Outgrowing Hunger. Nurturing connection to nature, food, and community, Outgrowing Hunger builds and operates community farms and gardens for refugees, immigrants, and people who care about affordable access to real food in Portland and Gresham. If you're a first-time visitor, please let the basket pass you by. You are a guest today. We now gratefully receive the gifts of this congregation. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction today is adapted from the letter to the Thessalonians. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Blessed be. I want to thank Tyler and Mary and Dakota and our greeters and Luna for pinch hitting and Tara and everyone who participated in this service. I have two quick announcements. Next Sunday after the service will be Spirited Conversations. We've had some fantastic groups coming back into the sanctuary for our circle discussions. And today after the service, we have a speaker about U.S. elections that Karen and I believe Therese have arranged. There's food. And lunch with the minister. I want to remind you that it's on Tuesdays from 12 to 1. We've had big groups and small groups, and it will happen every week unless otherwise noted. It will happen every week except coming up September 3rd. So I hope if you are around and you want to come by with your lunch for more conversation that we'll see you then. Tyler?
So I'm going to ask, how many people here have gone to the Eastrose auction before? Raise your hand. Okay. So there's quite a few people here that have not. So I'm going to give some information. This will be our 30th annual auction. Can you believe that? And the theme is How Time Flies. So there is on the table to the left, if you go out in the hallway to the left, there's a bunch of flyers. There is a flyer that describes the auction and what you can do. You can take one of those sheets. The auction will be held on October 3rd and 4th online, so there will be items that you can pull up and bid on. And then October 5th, starting at 2, we're going to meet in here, and we're going to have food and some music, and we'll be doing a few possible other auction activities, and that will include a dessert auction and raffle. So what the raffle will be is we will have baskets, and I encourage all of you to think, oh, I've got a whole bunch of soaps and smelly good stuff, I'd put in a basket. Or I have books that I don't need and I think somebody might enjoy. That would be a basket. If you have the bravery, sometimes it's called, to ask people that you know that you attend, like your hairdresser, like your chiropractor, like a restaurant that you go to often, and ask them if they're willing to give gift certificates to their businesses. We will mention their businesses at the auction, and those gift certificates will put in a basket, and people can also bid on that. So you'll have raffle tickets you will buy and put in the baskets that you want. This is a sheet that has what you might want to donate for the auction. It could be you're going to have a meal at your house for 5 or 6 people. You're going to go on a hike and would like to have people go with you. You may have a one-time deal where you will make a loaf of bread and give it to someone's home. Or you could have bunco at your home, or parcheesi, or if you have a pool and you want to go swimming. All those things will be items that you could donate to the auction. Now, if you have any questions at all, please contact me. You can either contact me by email, by text, by phone call. I'm willing to do it all. And numbers and things are on this one sheet of what you can do. And then lastly, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time, but it's important. There is a sign up. So if you just put your name, you put your phone number or email, and what your interest might be. Like you say, I'd like to make a basket. You don't know yet, but you want to do a basket, or you want to help out any way that can. Also, the food that we will have will be finger food, and Carol Knox is going to be overseeing that, but we all need you to bring in yummy finger food. At 2 o'clock, I'm not sure how long it's going to go, because it could be a couple of hours, it could be a little more, I'm not sure, but it starts at 2. Therefore, people that don't like to drive in the dark will have plenty of time between 2 and maybe 5, and you can get home safely. If anyone has any questions after the service, I'll be around for a little bit. I will gladly answer any of your questions. How time flies.
If you also have a skill, you want to drive people to the airport, you want to sing at a private function, if you have a vacation home you're willing to donate for a weekend, all those things.
All right. All right, we've got that one. I have an announcement. I meant to get it in the pedals this week, but we'll get that next week. The choir is hosting a party next Friday night. It's going to be at Mary Reese's Clubhouse, and there are maps out there, and it's roughly 15,000 Northeast Rose Parkway, not too far, just down the road a bit. There's going to be piano, pool table, ping pong, potluck. There will be refreshments, but BYOB and games. It should be a lot of fun, and everyone's invited. Yeah, just come on down. Any other announcements? Seems like there's not much announcements this morning. Yeah, an announcement from Eastrose herself. Nobody has signed up for post-coffee cleanup. You can help, or can you help do it? Please consider pitching in. It's pretty easy, just a few steps. Many hands make light work. All right, well, the service is now ended. Those here at Eastrose are invited to remain, have some coffee, and visit. We hope to see you all next week. Bring a friend.